Carolina. This is the Wolf Den on the campus of Knoll High School. It is your site for the 2012 Girls Lacrosse State Championship as Fort Mill set to take on JL Mann. Hello everybody, I am Birch Antley. This is Rick Piersma. Rick is the head coach at Blythewood High School here in the Midlands. Rick, very excited to be here. This should be a great matchup for the state championship.
It should be. These are the two best teams in the state. A number of really high quality players looking to go to college. Great matchup, beautiful day.
It is an absolutely gorgeous day here in Lexington as Fort Mill set to tangle with JL Mann for the state championship. We have all of the exciting action, all of the shots, all of the saves in the first draw of this game coming up when we return to Lexington, South Carolina here on the SCHSL Network.
Welcome back to Lexington, South Carolina as the 15-5 JL Mann Patriots take on the 14-0 Fort Mill Yellow Jackets for the 2012 Girls Lacrosse State Championship here in the Palmetto State. Birch Antley and Rick Piersma with you here on the SCHSL Network. Let's take a look first at JL Mann. There is their star, or one of their stars, Grayson Gaines in the blue. And taking a look at their starting lineup, talented goalie Paige Elder, and you see Gaines, Sutton, Miner, Dunn, Rumney, Walsh, along with Barthel, Carson, Anderson, and Megan Levine, a leading scorer for JL Mann. Now the starters for Fort Mill, Rosalie Hawkins, the very talented captain. She is the goalie, and Maddie Katz, their leading scorer, number 5, talented midfielder. And we are underway here from Knoll High School. And Rick, it is a beautiful day, and we are excited to be here for championship lacrosse.
It is gorgeous, and number 10 for JL Mann came up with the first draw control, and they're in their offense now.
That is JL Mann in the blue, Fort Mill in the white. These two teams met earlier in the year, and that is our first goal that is notched by Caitlin Walsh, her 81st goal of the year, and JL Mann strikes first on a quick goal.
And that's an unassisted goal.
Take another look. Walk us through this unassisted goal here by Caitlin Walsh, Rick.
She's driving to the right side and just backs up a little bit, makes a pass over and cranks a shot on. That looks like it was an assist on the follow-up.
Yeah, nice shot from about 10 yards along the far side. Here comes Fort Mill on the run. Fort Mill moving right to left. There's a shot that misses a little wide. And this will sail out of bounds. Possession will return to JL Mann. As JL Mann, the Patriots lead 1-0 over the Yellow Jackets of Fort Mill. Fort Mill knocking off the defending state champs Wando in the lower state championship to make it to this state title game here in Lexington. JL Mann defeated Riverside in the semifinals to claim the upper state championship and advance to the state title here today.
That's our first caused turnover of the day. Fort Mill player forced the JL Mann out of bounds.
Fort Mill now on the attack. There's a shot and a goal. And Fort Mill ties it up on a nice goal from 7 yards right in front of the goalies. You see on the replay here.
Nice feed from Frost.
And give that goal to Taylor Chambers, the junior attacker for Fort Mill.
Yeah, Fort Mill will score a lot of goals in that area of the field.
So another draw situation here now as you see our official coming in. Fort Mill and JL Mann tied. Fort Mill in the white, JL Mann in the blue. Ball on the ground is going to be controlled by Mann. And we've got a whistle.
A little too much contact on that play.
Megan Levine moving left to right. Now she's
Nice
almost
block
has it
pass
taken
by
away.
Dory Wilson.
Now they'll work behind the net, moving to the top of your screen. As JL Mann trying to slow down the pace, it looks like, Rick.
Yeah, I think they want to run their offense.
There's
another goal.
Nice goal for JL Mann and another for Caitlin Walsh. That's her second of this game with 23 minutes remaining. JL Mann reclaims the lead.
JL Mann running a little bit of a shift on their offense to pull Dory Wilson off of defending Walsh.
Rick, what has been new for 2012 as far as rules are concerned? I believe we did have some rule changes here in 2012.
We did with, I guess the biggest rule change is the issuing of yellow cards and how that affects play of the game. Nice save by Hawkins for Fort Mill on that. That's the first save of our game.
Yeah, Rosalie Hawkins, the talented junior goalie, 118 saves on the year, 53% save to shot ratio. As Fort Mill looking for space, and that one is denied.
As they're setting this out of bounds play up on a yellow card received by that team will play shorthanded for 2 minutes. In the old rules, they could have their full allotment of players on the defensive end and the offensive end. This year it changed to where they could only have that 6 players in, so you were playing man up, a lot more like the guys game.
And that one is out of bounds to JL Mann, so a turnover for Fort Mill. And now JL Mann on the attack in the blue with the ball is Sarah Dunn.
And some aggressive defense on transition. And that's a pickoff.
And that pass is intercepted, taken away by Maddie Katz. Katz, the leading goal scorer for Fort Mill, and head coach Nicole Morris. Paige Elder in goal for JL Mann. And another whistle.
Looks like a 3-second foul on 15.
There you see in goal Paige Elder, the junior, 126 saves, 45% on the year, and she picks up a nice save there. Elder will fire ahead, looking for Elizabeth Armstrong, and now Armstrong coming down near sideline. She'll pass it off over to Caitlin Walsh. Walsh with 2 goals in this game. And that one is taken away by Fort Mill. Nice pickup by Victoria Richardson, the junior midi. And she'll give off to number 8, Caroline Lewis, as Lewis will head down the far sideline. Pursued by 3 Patriot players. Let's take another look, Rick, at this save moments ago. It's just nice stick work there by Paige Elder.
Yes, the player from Fort Mill not really bringing the ball in hard to goal and made it an easier save for the goalie. It's nice work.
Ground ball pickup there for JL Mann and Caitlin Walsh. All-state player. She is only a junior. One of the top players here in the state of South Carolina, and we've got some of the best players on this field here today. A lot of all-state selections for both teams.
We do. Carolyn is her second year on the national team. And there's several players out there that are on there from both schools that are playing on the, there's 5 players from JL Mann on the national team, and I believe 3 or 4 players from Fort Mill.
Fort Mill now back on the attack. Coming near side is Victoria Richardson, the junior, number 4. Fort Mill coached by Nicole Morris, assisted by Kristen Worley. For JL Mann, head coach Christy Schumacher is assisted by the 2011 South Carolina Assistant Coach of the Year, Deanna Majeski. Nice honor for Majeski and the J.L. Mann Patriots. Fort Mill bottled up inside the arc, looking for a pass. Ball's on the ground, but scooped up by Fort Mill. Now they'll work it far side again, this time over to Claire Frace. And Frace will come around the goal. Fires, and that shot is a little wide. It is scooped up off the ground by J.L. Mann. Still a fight for it, and it's picked up by Fort Mill. Nice hustle there by Fort Mill. And Maddie Katz. So it is J.L. Mann possession with 18 minutes remaining here in the first half. The clock does not stop.
That's another forced turnover for Fort Mill.
Fort Mill back on the handle with Taylor Chambers, and she is going to be bottled up by 4 Patriots just outside the restraining line. Good takeaway there by J.L. Mann. Just some stifling defense by the Patriots as they lead 2-1. 17 and a half minutes remaining here in the half. Taking a look again at the road to the championship for J.L. Mann, number 1 seed out of the upper state. They knocked off Christ Church in the first round, 17-6. Defeated Eastside 17-3 in round number 2, and then knocking off Riverside 18-6 for the upper state championship.
3 minutes.
As J.L. Mann back on the attack. They'll go far sideline looking for Megan Levine. We made her way into the crease. Levine's going to shoot as Hawkins comes out from goal, and that shot is a little errant. And Fort Mill catches a break. Now Fort Mill quickly ahead with Hadley Mabry, the junior, coming near sideline. Mabry looking for some help. And easy little toss over to Taylor Sutton. Or check that, that's actually Kirsten Terry. Now Terry going for the crease, puts in a shot and makes it over the outstretched cross of Paige Elder, and we are tied again, 2 apiece.
Kristen Terry may be the most underrated player on the field today. She led her team in assists. I believe she led the state in assists and led the state in total points. She's a real player as a sophomore.
Timeout on the field as we've got a timeout called by J.L. Mann, and we'll take a break as well. When we return to Lexington, we'll have more action here on the SCHSL Network. We're back at the Wolf Den on the campus of White Knoll High School here in beautiful Lexington, South Carolina. We've got a tie game so far, 2-2 between J.L. Mann and Fort Mill for the 2012 Girls Lacrosse State Championship here in South Carolina. I am Birch Antley, joined by Rick Piersma, the head coach at Blythewood High School. And Rick, your Blythewood Bengals, a successful 2012 campaign as you made it to the playoffs again, but were knocked out of the playoffs by Fort Mill in round number 2.
Right, they're a good team. They have a good stick at every spot on the field. We had a slip by number 2 on that play.
J.L. Mann back on the attack. Tanner Rumney with possession. She'll dish off to Eleanor Minor. And that pass is going to be taken away by Fort Mill. Scrum for it. Loose ball is collected by J.L. Mann, though. And Sally Carson. J.L. Mann trying to spread the field.
Sally had 5 goals against Riverside in their upper state championship game. Kind of a surprise for her to score that much in one game.
Both goals for J.L. Mann scored by Caitlin Walsh. As a matter of fact, the first goal of this game was notched by Caitlin. And that shot misses the mark by Ellen Stallman. But JL Mann recovers. Moving inside the fan, there's a shot and it is good. JL Mann reclaims the lead. Goal scored by Tanner Rumney. And she just really penetrated inside the arc there, Rick, and fired a nice shot that made it right through the wickets of Rosalie Hawkins.
She did a nice face dodge on the Fort Mill player and rolled in there for a nice shot.
So just under 15 minutes remaining. As you see, Tanner Rumney, who just scored the goal, the junior midfielder. Now another draw. Let's see who's going to claim this one. It is going to be JL Mann, and that is always big, Rick, when you can score the goal and then immediately win the draw.
The draws are also important. You can't score without the ball.
And there it is. Another quick goal. Emma Anderson, the sophomore, and that was set up by JL Mann winning that draw.
That's correct. That really dictates the flow of the game. You'll look back on all the state championships, and the team that wins the draw wins the game.
So back-to-back goals for JL Mann in just under 20 seconds, and they lead 4-2 now. Biggest lead of this state championship so far. Here in the first half, 14:38 remaining. And a whistle.
On the draw, both players need to come up and away with their stick. So when the ball comes sideways, they'll usually redraw that.
JL Mann with a chance, but unable to scoop it up, and Fort Mill wins that draw. Going far sideline, JL Mann stifling defense, but Fort Mill able to split the defenders. And Fort Mill on the run, inside the arc, firing. There's a good stick by Paige Elder for JL Mann, the junior goalie. Fort Mill collects back on offense for the Yellow Jackets. Trailing 4-2 to the Patriots. Fort Mill in white, JL Mann in blue here in the first half. Trying to draw Elder out. Now she makes a move for it. And tries a high shot.
And puts it in there.
And it's good. So it's 4-3 now. Nice goal there by Fort Mill's Kirsten Terry. That's her second of this game.
Kirsten is dangerous from that spot on the field. If you come out and pressure her, she can roll underneath you like she did on that goal and stick that inside the post.
Well, we went through the road to the championship for JL Mann out of the upper state. For Fort Mill in the lower state, number one seed defeated Spring Valley 23-2 in the first round, knocking off Blythewood 13-7 in the second. And then a 1-point victory over the defending state champs, the Warriors of Wando, 17-16 in the lower state championship to make it to the finals. Fort Mill is the home team here today. And they trail 4-3 right now with JL Mann back on offense as Caitlin Walsh pushing down the near sideline. Now inside the arc, circling over is Walsh. And a whistle.
Had a hard check from Dory Wilson, so we have free position for Walsh.
Walsh always dangerous here. Fires it in for her third goal of the game. And Mann with a 2-point lead again. It is 5-3. And she really just whips that ball right in there. Basically no chance for Rosalie Hawkins.
No, she's got a good hard shot. She's out there taking the draw again for Mann.
Caitlin Walsh has had an excellent year here in 2012. 80 goals coming into this game. She's already collected 3 here in this championship, and she is also a ground ball machine, Rick. 178 ground balls in 2012.
Yeah, that's a ton of ground balls. She's going to end up with this draw control now. Not only did she win the draw, she got the draw control also. She's a major player for them.
Now earlier, here in the first half, JL Mann scored, then won draw control and immediately turned that into a point. Let's see if the Patriots can do the same with 12:23 remaining. Our officials have done an outstanding job here in this championship, Rick. They have really taken control of this game.
Yep, I think we have another 3-second call.
Another open shot here for JL Mann. Right at the top of the arc, firing it in, and that one's going to be a little bit wide to the left. So Fort Mill able to dodge a bullet there, but JL Mann still on possession. Moving near sideline for JL Mann. Grayson Gaines. That ball is picked up off the turf by Megan Levine. They'll work it right side with Rumney. She has scored a goal back in the 14th minute. Absolutely gorgeous sunsplash day here in Lexington, South Carolina on the campus of White Knoll High School. Thank you so much for joining us here on the South Carolina High School League Network. A low shot skips away and sails out of bounds.
It's going to be Mann ball.
Firing it in for JL Mann, Emma Anderson, the sophomore. Another whistle. And another opportunity here for JL Mann. A loose ball, but Caitlin Walsh able to corral it behind the goal. Fight for it.
Like
Fort Mill comes away with it.
Up with that one for Fort Mill.
Dory Wilson, the senior defender, with an outstanding play there to take it away from Caitlin Walsh. 5-3 is your score. Just under 10.5 minutes remaining here in the first half.
Well, it's kind of a long errant pass, but it's going to work out. Kristen Terry with the ball now, passing it inside.
Terry quickly up ahead, but JL Mann takes it away. The Patriots, Tanner Rumney. Rumney with a nice pass over to Maddie Hogan, who just checked into the game for the Patriots.
And that's going to be another turnover caused by the tight transition defense of Fort Mill.
Yeah, Hogan, the sophomore, lost the handle. And Fort Mill will have possession here with 9.5 minutes remaining in the half. Fort Mill trailing by 2, 5-3. Hawkins will send this pass in, taken away by JL Mann. Indeed, very dangerous turnover. That's Caitlin Walsh again with 3 goals in this game for the Patriots, as she slips inside the arc, but with the handle is Tanner Rumney. She has also scored, along with Anderson for JL Mann. Now working behind the net is Maddie Hogan. Walsh will slip in and then sling it over to her right side. Now over to Megan Levine.
This is an isolation play set up for Megan to take in. Pretty good defense.
And a good play by Fort Mill's Rosalie Hawkins as well, coming out to challenge Megan Levine. And this is the third open shot for J.L. Mann, and that one scoots through. And J.L. Mann with the biggest lead of this game now, 6-3. As that open shot is in there for Megan Levine.
Those are tough stops for goalies to make.
So J.L. Mann, 2 of 3 so far, Rick Piersma, in that situation.
Yes, and they've gotten off a couple of shots on the ones where they didn't make it. So
Fort Mill really needs draw control here, but it's going to go right back to J.L. Mann. J.L. Mann has been dominant in draw control. A little fast break, shoots and scores. Count it for Sally Carson, the junior. And again, Rick, draw control for J.L. Mann comes up huge for the Patriots.
It means everything, especially when you're winning that draw to your attack side, because then you've got a fast break going, and they have very capable players of finishing that fast break.
So for the second time in this game, J.L. Mann scores, wins draw control, and then scores again. Fort Mill trailing by 4. And we'll redraw here with 7:53 remaining in the first half of action. Maintained by Fort Mill. They desperately needed this one. Fort Mill looking to cut into this J.L. Mann lead. The Yellow Jackets streaking, firing, and that one is wide to the left.
It'll be Fort Mill ball.
Fort Mill looking to chip away at this J.L. Mann lead. At one point we were tied 2-2, but then J.L. Mann going on a big little run.
Another quick shot by Kristen.
Turnover to J.L. Mann. And the Patriots will now take it near sideline. Pass controlled by Grayson Gaines. And J.L. Mann looking for more. And a Fort Mill player falling down. That's Caroline Lewis. And she was defending Tanner Rumney. And another set situation here for Rumney and J.L. Mann. That shot skips out to the left side, but the Patriots will maintain possession. Working left to right, moving from the top of your screen down to the bottom. Caitlin Walsh now gives away left side to Tanner Rumney. And J.L. Mann slowing down the pace here, Rick.
Yes, running a little bit of Northwestern offense. If a player comes out to challenge, you get to go to the goal like Morgan just tried to do there.
Nice ground ball pickup there for Fort Mill.
Another cause turnover here.
But taken away by J.L. Mann. That's just excellent defense by Megan Levine, trailing the Yellow Jacket midfielder. And now J.L. Mann on the attack again. Quickly, Sally Carson. Carson will fire. Beautiful save by Fort Mill and Rosalie Hawkins. Hawkins really needed that one for the Yellow Jackets. Now Fort Mill on offense. Far sideline. Elder in goal for J.L. Mann. Really hasn't been challenged that much today by Fort Mill so far. The Yellow Jackets with 2 goals, though.
No, she's playing a much better game today than she did when they met earlier in the season.
Fort Mill cutting right to left. There's a nice little save by Elder. JL Mann fighting for it, but it's going to be Fort Mill possession.
They had a little push on that play, and Kristen Terry has the ball back.
Terry with 2 goals for Fort Mill, the other scored by Chambers. 7-3 is your score. JL Mann leading. JL Mann High School out of Greenville,
nice
South
save.
Carolina. Fort Mill in York County in the Rock Hill, Charlotte
Fast
area.
break for JL Mann.
And that pass sails
That's a nice
too
long
long.
ball.
Yeah, and picked up by Fort Mill and Abby Sandy, the freshman. Sandy had just checked into this game. Now Caroline Lewis streaking near sideline. Lewis splits the defenders and finds an open Hadley Mabry.
There's a nice fast break, and that.
Now circling
Over
around,
there, she'll be rolling that crease.
trying to find one of her teammates, but we've got a stoppage of play.
I think we have 3 seconds again on man player.
So now this will be the first set situation here for Fort Mill. As Caroline Lewis at the top of the arc. She'll drift right side.
Chooses
And now
not
pull
to
it
take
back
that
out.
ball in.
Taylor Sutton now. Back to Terry.
Nice.
Beautiful pass from Terry to Maddie Katz, and Katz picks up her first goal of the day on a great assist there by Kirsten Terry.
Yeah, real pretty play.
Take a look on the replay as you see Kirsten Terry on a nice feed and then a quick fire to Katz, and Katz puts it into the net. 2 minutes 40 seconds remaining here in the first half. JL Mann leading Fort Mill 7-4 here in the 2012 South Carolina State Championship. Fort Mill back on offense, trying to chip away at this JL Mann lead. We were tied earlier 2-2, but then JL Mann went on a run, and Fort Mill finally scoring here with under 3 minutes remaining here in the first half. Birch Antley and Rick Piersma with you, and now we are joined by the wonderful commissioner of the South Carolina High School League, Mr. Jerome Singleton. Jerome, I tell you, you could not have dialed up a better day. It is absolutely gorgeous weather here in Lexington for a great day of lacrosse championships.
Yeah, and a great day for sports in general. I can't believe the improvement that the game has had so quickly. The level of play have just increased tremendously over the past few years since we've had it in place.
Yeah, this is our third state championship sanctioned by the South Carolina High School League. Lacrosse really gaining a foothold here in the state of South Carolina, becoming very, very popular. And lacrosse really kicking off our spring sport showcase that we have coming up.
Absolutely. We're in the middle of getting ready for all of our spring sport playoff period. In the next few weeks, we'll be right in the middle of it, and a lot going on real fast. But we've got the largest number of athletes, or largest numbers of our student population competing this time of the year, and that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, we closed out our winter sports just a few weeks ago with basketball, the state championships in Columbia, and now we're kicking off our spring sports. As coming up soon, we will have baseball, softball, soccer, track and field, which is always a big favorite of mine, and also we'll have men's tennis and golf as well.
Absolutely, yes, and those things so appreciative of the staff that I have, because they all are responsible for those sports that we have, and they do a great job of trying to keep it in place, and they work very hard, and I want to publicly express my appreciation for the work that they do. But I don't want to leave out those coaches association that plays a big role in helping us to get it done, because without them we can't get it done.
Yeah, the Coaches Association and the Officials Association as well always lend a helping hand and really come together to promote athletics and high school sports here in the state of South Carolina. Jerome, one thing we're very, very big on is sportsmanship, and we have seen some outstanding sportsmanship not only here today, but in every sport that we have covered for the 2011-2012 academic year.
Absolutely, and I think that's a tribute to our schools that are competing, because evidently they got that understanding from the very beginning. It's a part of what the school culture is and what they expect. But and I didn't neglect to speak of our officials. They set the tempo. They establish what will be tolerated and what won't be tolerated, and because of the work that they do, the wonderful work that they do, we're able to have these contests, and it's what it should be. It's a game. It's played as a game and not a war.
Yeah, I really wish we could crown 2 champions here today, but hey, just to make it this far, that is a championship feat in itself. And it is always exciting to cover these events for us here on the South Carolina High School League Network. And Jerome, thank you and your staff so much for continuing to build and grow this network. It has been a lot of fun.
And thank you, Birch, for the work that you do, and all the people that help us out. We really appreciate that. And what people don't realize is in this sport and some of our other sports, where there's only one champion crowned, this is a champion of champions. Because it goes across all classification lines. This will be the best in the sport that of lacrosse. These teams will consider themselves the best.
Well, Jerome, we certainly appreciate you spending some time with us, and thank you for providing us with such a gorgeous location. We do need to thank White Knoll High School and their administration for rolling out the red carpet for us as well.
Absolutely, as always, we want to thank them and Joe Meyer and her staff for all that they do, and we really appreciate what they've done, and they have not been one to turn their backs on us whenever we needed them.
All right, Jerome Singleton, thank you so much for joining us. Commissioner of the South Carolina High School League, as time expires here in the first half. We are going to take a break with JL Mann leading after one half of play, 7-4 over Fort Mill. You're watching the South Carolina High School League Network. Welcome back to White Knoll High School in Lexington, South Carolina. We are ready for the second half of action. JL Mann leading 8-4 over Fort Mill here in the 2012 Girls Lacrosse Championship. Hello, everybody. I am Birch Antley along with Rick Piersma, the head coach over at Blythewood High School. And Rick, the first half, very entertaining and very well played by both teams.
Yes, it was. It was a good game so far. Fort Mill has come up with the first draw control of this half. Dory Wilson taking the ball all the way in. Doesn't look like she's going to give up the shot. And she scores.
Yeah, Wilson with a nice shot off of her left shoulder that just found a crease between Paige Elder and the right side of the goal. And she just put that one right up in the 4-hole.
It's time for the seniors to put up now.
So Dory Wilson with her first goal of this game. It comes with 24:42 remaining here in the match, and it is now 7-5. And you know that's what Coach Nicole Morris for Fort Mill wanted, Rick, was to come out of the half and pick up a quick goal.
Exactly what they wanted to do, and just keep right on going here. Looks like they come up with another draw control.
And that's something that Fort Mill did not do very well in the first half. JL Mann scoring twice off of draw control wins.
Right off the draw, yeah. And most teams want to try to run a fast break off their draw win.
So Fort Mill here with a chance to score on consecutive opportunities here. With possession, Caroline Lewis. Lewis will step out.
I think we have a card for a slash here.
Indeed we do. First one of this game. So heading to the sideline for JL Mann will be Tanner Rumney. Rumney scored a goal back in the first half with 15 minutes remaining in the first half.
This will be man up for Fort Mill. This can get them back in the game.
So Fort Mill with an opportunity here, as they will have.
You could see the man girls standing inside the 8. If you're in there for more than 3 minutes without marking a player, that's a 3-second violation. And that's what this call is.
And there's a goal by Fort Mill. So 2 quick scores for the Yellow Jackets as they have clawed right back into this ball game. Victoria Richardson, the junior midfielder.
And we have a timeout for JL Mann, I believe.
So 2 quick goals to start this second half, Rick, and that's just what the doctor ordered for Fort Mill, as they now only trail by 1, 7-6, after trailing 7-4 at the half. What have they done better, do you think, to start off this second half?
I think they're lining up for the draws a little bit different than they were, and adjusted to that. Get your taller players out there and draw the ball a little higher. Fort Mill does have that over JL Mann. They've got probably about a minute and a half left of that 2-minute penalty. So at this point, they really want to push things up. That's not really their style, though.
If you're Fort Mill, how do you try to take advantage of the unbalanced lineup now for JL Mann?
Well, you try to isolate your player who does not have a defender, and that's what they did on this last play, and move that player in on goal. That's pretty much what you do with your offense all the time, is you're trying to isolate a player, get them one-on-one, or in this case, a one-on-none. So it's moving the ball quickly.
Now this draw very important for both JL Mann and Fort Mill. Fort Mill with draw control the last time, and they almost get it again, but JL Mann converging, leading the way, Olivia Barthel, the senior.
Mann's going to want to try to run this last minute and a half off the clock. But they'll be looking to score, too.
That JL Mann, the Patriots, will try to utilize a lot of passing here, but they lose it there.
Yeah, nice takeaway, and throw it right back to a defender.
It doesn't look like JL Mann looking to slow down the pace. They're not wasting any time, even though they're a man down. As on the sideline with the penalty, Tanner Rumney.
They play a man down on attack here now, too, so what Fort Mill really wants to do is double that ball. You've got an extra player out there. You should be pressuring that ball. Fort Mill's moving the ball quickly and trying to keep it away from the double team. They have this girl cornered now.
That's Sally Carson, doubled up over on the far sideline. 7-6 is your score. JL Mann Patriots leading the Yellow Jackets of Fort Mill High School. JL Mann out of Greenville, Fort Mill in York County, in the Rock Hill, Charlotte area. A low shot, misses the mark, but JL Mann remains on offense.
And we are back at full strength now, both sides.
Looking for some
nice save by Hawkins.
Megan Hobbs, or check that, Megan Levine. But Hawkins with a beautiful save.
We have a stoppage of play here. I'm not sure what we've got going on.
And the official is sending JL Mann's Megan Levine to the sideline.
This is I didn't see a card. It's probably some kind of delay of game. Either she's got earrings in, which you're not supposed to have, or she may have broke her stick, but I don't see anybody looking at that either. So I'm not really sure what this call was.
Now Fort Mill coming near sideline. That's Maddie Katz. She has a goal in this game. Taken away by J.L. Mann and Caitlin Walsh. And Walsh,
she will push this.
Has
nice.
Her pocket picked. Maddie Katz comes away with it. And she'll swing it over to Rosalie Hawkins, who will fire it inbounds for Fort Mill. The sidelines for J.L. Mann, Megan Levine, still don't know the reason the official sent her to the sidelines. That pass almost taken away, but collected by Tanner Rumney. Rumney back in this game after serving the 2-minute penalty.
That's a nice pickoff play there, and then trying to get back at the player. She had a hard check and into the body.
20 minutes remaining here in this 2012 state championship. We've got ourselves a 1-point game. J.L. Mann leading 7-6 over Fort Mill. Fort Mill quickly on the attack, charging down the far sideline, trying to take it all the way.
Yeah. Well, she did just that. She gets called for a charge, trying to go through two players.
Dory Wilson started this second half for Fort Mill with a quick goal. Now it is J.L. Mann possession here with Caitlin Walsh coming near sideline. Being checked by Hadley Mabry. Caitlin Walsh with 2 quick goals to start this game. And she picked up a goal with just under 13 minutes remaining in the first half. Has been held in check.
That's going to be a card for number 2. That was a check to the back of the head. And she will be out for 2 minutes. So this is J.L. Mann's chance to get a couple of quick scores.
That's Hadley Mabry called for the penalty, and she will head to the sidelines for 2 minutes. And Rick, now J.L. Mann with an opportunity as they have a 1-player advantage over Fort Mill. Good passing by J.L. Mann. That is textbook right there, Rick.
That's perfect. That's what you want to do. Swing the ball, 2 or 3 quick passes, and then a shot.
And Rumney with her second goal of the game. And it's a 2-point lead now for J.L. Mann. Just 2 quick passes. They'll find a wide open Rumney as Rosalie Hawkins had come out to the top of the crease. And just no chance for Hawkins. Draw control for Fort Mill. With possession for the Yellow Jackets, Dory Wilson. Wilson with a pass. Now over to Claire Frace, and Frace is going to drive in. And there's going to be a push.
There's shooting space on that one, I believe. The trailing defender was a little bit deep to cover that player.
Here's an opportunity for Fort Mill. Driving in. Shot misses the mark, taken by Claire Frace. Fort Mill remains on possession here with just over 18 minutes to play. There's good defense there by J.L. Mann. That is just excellent work by Tanner Rumney, who just scored moments ago.
Yeah, Tanner's having the game of her life. She only had 3 saves against Fort Mill when they played earlier in the season. She's had that just in the last 5 minutes.
High shot knocked away by Paige Elder. Good job by the junior goalkeeper. Fort Mill now Kirsten Terry on the handle. Terry with 2 goals back in the first half.
Looks like JL Mann has gone to a back or 2 defense, trying to shut down Kristen Terry.
Ground
That
ball
does open up the offense.
picked up by Fort Mill and Claire Frace. Frace will circle around. Now far side for Frace.
And she is
Coming near
definitely
side.
being double teamed now.
Trying to find an opening. And JL Mann comes up with a turnover, but hold the phone. Fort Mill still fighting for it. Fort Mill will retain possession.
That'll be Fort Mill's ball.
Two-point lead here for JL
There's
Mann.
another
Making
goal.
a 1-point lead is a huge goal for Fort Mill. That is big. Maddie Katz coming up with her 2nd score of the game. And it's a 1-point lead again for JL Mann. And look at Katz. Just a beautiful shot from about 9 yards out. Maddie Katz with 74 goals coming into this state championship, an all-state player in her senior year. Now, if Fort Mill could win this draw, this would be huge for the Yellow Jackets.
Right.
And it is Fort Mill possession. Fort Mill back on the attack. A pass just outside the crease, taken away by JL Mann. And the penalty time has ended, Rick, so we are
Back to full strength.
back to full strength for Fort Mill. JL Mann long pass taken away by Fort Mill.
You
that
can live and
pass
die by the long
is-
pass. Both of these teams have found that out today.
Yeah, that pass errant as well. Fort Mill right there trailing defense, and they reclaim possession.
And they're pushing
Now
the ball.
Frace pushing
A 3
the
on
action.
3.
Frace splits the defender.
Tries to
Elder
shoot
with a
across the
beautiful
goalie.
save. Elder just getting her cross out there to
Got a
wick
nice-
it away. JL
There's
Mann
another
with
one of those
another
long passes.
outlet pass.
And that's out of bounds.
Yeah, you said, Rick, earlier, just moments ago, that you live or die by the long pass. And sometimes you can make those long outlet passes and it'll work like magic. But it is a difficult pass to make.
It is. Most teenage girls don't really mature that part of the brain that can catch those long passes like that until they get to about 19 or 20. So it always looks good when you can make that play, but it is risky. But it sets up a fast break like we have here. You don't make the catch though, and
Players tumbling.
looks
to
like
the
we got a
turf.
lot of rough play out there right now, and the umpires are letting them play.
8-7, JL Mann leading by 1, 14-12 remaining here in this championship. JL Mann led 7-4 after the first half. Fort Mill scoring 3 quick goals to get the second half underway. Our leading goal scorers, Terry for Fort Mill with a pair, as well as Katz. And for JL Mann, Walsh with 3 scores.
We have another 3-second violation. that's
low shot. Elder, nicely done by Paige Elder, the junior. Just dropped the hammer right down, preventing the goal for Fort Mill. Long pass as they move for it over on the far side. Now JL Mann quickly on offense with numbers. Nice little flip pass, but
great
Hawkins
save
with a
by the
beautiful
goalie.
save. Hawkins just came right out to challenge the JL Mann attacker. Another long pass for the Patriots. This one sails
That one
over
might
the
stay
head.
in bounds, and the Fort Mill
Ruth Ann
girl's going to
Payne.
get it.
How about that save by Rosalie Hawkins, though, for Fort Mill?
Well, that's a game-changing save there. If they could turn around and tie this game up now.
Let's take a look at that replay. That was a nice little touch pass.
Great feed, and she did just what you have to do as a goalie. You have to come out and challenge that player. She did an awesome job.
Just came right out to meet Sally Carson.
And here's another nice save.
Rosalie Hawkins really showing her game here in the second half. Trying to get...
Again, those long passes just really are killing Fort Mill at this point.
Now JL Mann back on the attack. Sally Carson drifting over to the far side. Carson being shaded by Taylor Sutton for Fort Mill. Now behind the net. Looking for a pass over to Walsh. Now Walsh will drift in. Makes a nice pass, and Hawkins again denying JL Mann. So Hawkins has been outstanding here in the second half. Another errant pass, and JL Mann collects. That's Caitlin Walsh again. Walsh passes to her right.
Little sloppy play right now from both teams.
Fort Mill comes away with it. Fort Mill on the prowl. Abby Sandy splits the defenders.
Just run by everybody.
Sandy
There's
now
a nice
ahead.
pass.
Nice pass over to Katz. Katz gonna try to take it herself. Low shot, not there.
Frost bringing the ball in.
Now she will be drifting to the near side, bottom of your screen. Slowing down the pace is Fort Mill here with just over 10 minutes remaining. Fort Mill trailing by 1 to JL Mann.
Setting up Frost to roll the crease again. She's got to go left here, and that scores.
And that's her first goal of the game for Frost. Claire Frost, the sophomore. Or actually, I believe that was Katz.
Kristen Terry again.
Oh, Terry, okay. So that is hat trick for Terry. Her third goal. So Terry and Walsh for JL Mann, both with 3 goals apiece.
We have a brand new game with 10 minutes left.
Yeah, tied at 8 apiece. The last time we were tied, it was 2-2 back in the early going of the first half. So Fort Mill with 4 big goals here in the second half to tie this game.
Now we had a draw violation on JL Mann on that, so free position to Maddie Katz at the center of the field.
Bumping in Caroline Lewis, number 8 for Fort Mill, running right into Sally Carson, number 21 for JL Mann. Now to action. Fort Mill on the handle is Caroline Lewis. Lewis will make a short pass. Over to Terry. If you're Fort Mill, you've got to think that you're going to try to find
another 3-second violation. You see the number 4 from Fort Mill standing right in the middle of the 8-meter arc.
If you're Fort Mill, you really want Katz and Terry to take as many shots as they possibly can. They are your leading goal scorers. And here's a good opportunity for Maddie Katz.
Hit
Nice.
the posted on that one.
Yeah, that was
And
Paige
that will
Elder.
be Fort Mill's ball.
I thought she had slapped it away, but indeed, as you say, Rick Piersman, it hit the post on the left side.
There's another one of those long passes. Really not necessary to do that at this point in the game.
So J.L. Mann back on offense. Charging down the far sideline is Rumney. Fort Mill comes up with a forced turnover. Nice pass. Shot
And there's
denied.
a great save by
Elder coming up big for J.L. Mann with 8 minutes remaining.
goalies are playing great. They both having their best games of the season.
Firing
That puts
and
Fort
scoring
Mill up on
is
top. That's
Fort
Maddie
Mill.
Katz.
And Maddie Katz coming down with her 3rd goal of the game. So we've got 3 hat tricks here in this championship. Maddie Katz and Terry for Fort Mill and Caitlin Walsh for J.L. Mann. And for the first time in this game, Fort Mill has the lead. Rick, they have really battled back.
They have a pretty senior team, and they're taking over right now. Those seniors are. They do not want to lose this game. And that's going
Trailed
to be
by
Fort
3 at the half, and now they have stormed back here in the second half of play to take the lead with 7.5 minutes remaining, and Fort Mill back on offense. Here's Fort Mill on the handle. It's Caroline Lewis.
You want to stay in your offense now, but you do not need to push the ball. As long as you have possession, the other team can't score. And
This
that
ball,
was
it is
potentially a turnover there.
picked up by Fort Mill and Kirsten Terry. Now charging in is Mabry. And J.L. Mann forces a turnover.
J.L. Mann star with the ball, bringing it upfield.
And Caitlin Walsh, the leading scorer for J.L. Mann with 3 goals. She picked up the hat trick in the first half. Rumney with a pair of goals. One in the first, one in the second. Walsh with a pass over to her left side. Now J.L. Mann will work behind the net. And a whistle. 3-second violation there, Rick?
I'm not sure what they called. There may have been a shooting space violation on that one.
So J.L. Mann will inbounds now.
It looks
Over
like
on
we're
the
going to
far
have a
side.
throw, so there were offsetting penalties there somewhere.
It's the first time we've had a throw in this championship. Now, Rick, is the throw more difficult for the official or for the players?
I think it's more difficult for the official. It's really hard to be fair with that. You don't do it that often, and we certainly don't practice it.
Circling over to her right is Caitlin Walsh. Now she'll drift left, fires a pass, shot not there.
That's going to be goalie's ball. Nice hustle by Hawkins.
Now, Hawkins has had a very impressive second half. Elder also for JL Mann has come up with some big saves, but Fort Mill has taken a lot of shots on goal here in the second half, and they've knocked in 5 goals in the second half after scoring 4 in the first to take the lead for the first time in the championship, 9-8. Just under 5 minutes to play.
Number 8 is called for cradling in her sphere. You have to, your stick needs to remain checkable at all times when you have the ball.
Yeah, you constantly have to have that stick in motion when you are on possession.
We had a dangerous check, so free position for Caitlin.
Walsh decides against taking the shot.
That was another dangerous check.
Now explain the difference in the checks for us, Rick.
Well, the check has to be going away from the body.
As Walsh scores again, her 4th goal of the game, and again we are tied with 3:33 remaining.
The check needs to be away from the body, and if you're going at the body, of course, that's considered dangerous. And girls lacrosse is the leading sport as far as number of players versus concussions. So it's a big issue with girls lacrosse. We want to try to stay out of helmets if we can.
Here's the draw. Caitlin Walsh is in there for JL Mann after she just scored, but Fort Mill claims possession. Maddie Katz. Katz will fire over to Richardson. Tied at 9 apiece with 3.5 minutes remaining. Fort Mill circling behind the net. It's Richardson who is bottled up over along the far side. She will drift backwards. Makes a pass. As Terry charging in, fires off the mark. Fort Mill retains. 4 goals in this game for Caitlin Walsh, the All-State player for JL Mann. Terry and Katz with a pair of hat tricks.
She's going to try to roll again to her left side.
That's Frace on the handle. Drifting right, now charging in, trying to split the defense. She almost lost the handle there, Rick, but was able to retain possession.
She's pressing pretty hard, so she ran into that defender. Could have been called a charge.
Terry now being shaded by Sarah Dunn, the senior defender for JL Mann.
Let's set up the isolation play again for Kristen. And that shooting space.
That pass is going to sail wide, but coming in, trailing the player is Grayson Gaines, and she's going to be whistled. And it will be Fort Mill ball. Fort Mill charging in. Not looking for the shot, though, is
she was well defended on that.
Mabry back to Frace. Frace looking for some help.
We got shooting space.
Time now at 1 minute 25 seconds.
She wants to take this ball in hard. And there's a shot.
Frace.
That comes at 1:26 left in the game.
So Frace puts the Yellow Jackets back on top, 10-9.
And timeout for Fort Mill.
So we've got a timeout on the field by Fort Mill, and the Yellow Jackets lead it 9-8. Don't go away. We'll be back with the closing moments of action here in the state championship from Lexington on the SCHSL network.
Well, it looks like Caitlin's not taking the draw this time, so I think J.L. Mann's probably got something up their sleeves.
We will see. 1:26 remaining in this championship, and it is a 1-point game right now with Fort Mill leading 10-9. They trailed by 3 at the half, but they have really dominated here in the second half. And this is probably, Rick, the most important draw of this game.
Yes, it is. And J.L. Mann has come up with it, and she's going to goal. She has no defender.
Fires
and that scores the goal.
And we're tied again. Sally Carson, as soon as she got possession, Rick, she knew exactly what she wanted to do.
She did, and there was not a defender between her and the ball, or to the goal, rather. She went straight in, and that pretty much handcuffs the goalie.
So now this is the most important draw.
Yes, it is. I think everyone from here on in is going to be really important.
We've got 1:17 remaining. We're in a tie game, 10-10. Fort Mill and J.L. Mann fighting for a state championship. It would be the first state championship for either team. Loose ball. Who's going to control it?
That should be Kristen Terry coming up with that, and she did. She's going to throw the ball away here.
Passing at a premium right now. .52 seconds remaining.
This is what you want, possession of the ball with the last minute to go.
Nice pass along the far sideline for J.L. Mann. Trying to split the defender. Going for that long pass.
And that's going to be Fort Mill's ball.
36 seconds remaining.
This would be a good time for Fort Mill to take another timeout and set this up. You can't carry them into overtime.
Fort Mill.
She's just going to run away from it. Somebody needs to come to ball for her. That's a nice caused turnover.
Knocked away by J.L. Mann, Ruth Ann Payne, the sophomore.
28 seconds left. Fort Mill does have 3 girls back on defense.
So J.L. Mann now, Caitlin Walsh.
That's who you want to have the ball.
J.L. Mann, right side. Looking for a space, circling around behind the net. Clock at 8 seconds. They're going to have to fire a shot. And it's going to be stopped at 2 seconds.
That's Fort Mill possession. She'll have it out on the 12, but there's nothing she can do with it with 2 seconds left in the game except lose the ball. So we're going to overtime.
Moving it down, and time expires. So overtime here in the 2012 state championship. And Rick, explain overtime for us.
Well, it's a little bit different than the guys' game. They'll play basically 6 minutes of overtime. The full time will be played 3 minutes, and then goalies will switch end and they'll redraw to start the second half of the overtime period.
So a total of 6 minutes.
6 minutes. And a goal does not stop. It's not sudden death. So you can give up a goal in this and keep your heads and get back in the game.
Well, we will have some time to reset the action here. And we will take a break, but don't go away. After the end of regulation, we're tied 10 apiece, and we're heading to overtime here from White Knoll High School in Lexington, South Carolina. This is the SCHSL Network. We are back in Lexington, South Carolina. We're in overtime here for the 2012 state championship. JL Mann and Fort Mill all tied at 10 apiece. Birch Antley and Rick Pierceman with you. And Rick, you and I were discussing during the break after regulation. This is the first ever overtime in championship history.
That's correct. Even before we were sanctioned, we didn't have an overtime for the championship game.
This is the youngest sport in the South Carolina High School League, only 3 years old. However, lacrosse was played at the club level before it was sanctioned by the South Carolina High School League. This is our third state championship under the direction of the South Carolina High School League. And the draw is controlled by JL Mann to start overtime. Again,
we have a caused turnover already.
We will have 3 minutes on the clock, and then we will change sides of the field and play for 3 more minutes. And whoever has the most goals after 6 minutes of play will win the 2012 state championship. If we are tied after this overtime period, Rick, then we will go to another overtime where it will be sudden victory.
Yes, that's correct. And we've certainly not seen that in any games this year.
Fort Mill and JL Mann, the top 2 teams in the state of South Carolina, really playing like it here today.
And that's
taking
a goal.
Us into overtime. There is a goal for Fort Mill, and that is a goal for Maddie Katz. That is her 4th of the day. Maddie Katz. Nice shot over the left shoulder of Paige Elder.
Just a real pretty feed on that play from Kristen Terry.
So Fort Mill, since the first half, has outscored JL Mann 7-4.
Yeah, they're playing really well. Being a little more aggressive on going after the ground balls now, and that's what's making a difference in these draw controls and swinging the game.
After the first 25 minutes of play, we went to into halftime with JL Mann leading Fort Mill 7-4, and then in the second half, Fort Mill just came raging back, took the lead, but then JL Mann able to tie it before the end of regulation with 1:17 seconds remaining. And now Katz with her 4th goal of the day here in overtime. Fort Mill with the lead and possession.
You don't really want to stall the ball in this situation, because at the end of the 3-minute session, your time will run out. So you do want to get another score here if you can. They're setting up for Kristen Terry to ISO again. That's the same play that they just ran, and she threw the ball away.
Yeah, ground ball picked up by JL Mann and Tanner Rumney. And JL Mann looking to score here as Rumney charges down the near side. Now she pauses and swings it right side to Emma Anderson, the sophomore.
Yeah, we're down to a minute left in this first 3.
Nice pass by Anderson to Megan Levine, and Levine clears back over to Tanner Rumney with 45 seconds remaining here in the first.
This is their
3-minute
score
period.
right here.
Now cutting in, firing, and scoring is Tanner Rumney, and Rumney picks up the hat trick, her third goal of the game.
Some miscommunication on defense for Fort Mill on that play as they let her free up and go to the goal with no defender. And we have tie game again.
Yeah, you see Rumney, Tanner Rumney, the junior midfielder. And this is a very important draw here with 31 seconds remaining in the first 3-minute period of overtime. We will redraw. We're all even, 11-11. This has been a back and forth game ever since halftime. Now JL Mann on the charge, splitting the defenders. Rumney backs away. Now looking for a pass. Tanner Rumney, who had just scored moments ago.
Offsides on Fort Mill stops the play.
Stops the clock with 13 seconds. You see Tanner Rumney stepping in, looking.
Being very patient here.
And she was looking for a cutting Sally Carson.
And this is last 5 seconds. Looks like we're going to run this down. We won't get a shot off here.
So there's the horn, and we'll put 3 more minutes back on the clock here, and we'll change sides of the field. We are tied 11-11, and we will not have a delay in between the changing of the field.
Each coach does have 1 timeout in overtime to use.
Now, Rick, explain why we have the goalies change sides of the field after 3 minutes.
Mostly to just make sure that it's fair. A lot of games, most games are played in the evening. If you're running that overtime, one goalie could be looking into the sun. So it just makes it fair for everybody. This is Fort Mill coming up with the draw control off of a foul.
So Fort Mill with possession, looking to break this tie. And I guess whoever decided to create that rule probably said, Rick, well, these goalies aren't out there running around like we are, so let's give them an opportunity to stretch their legs.
Yeah.
Fort Mill with possession near side. Now they'll work it behind the net. It is in the cross of Claire Frost, who has had an outstanding game. Claire has.
Yeah, she has. Kristen Terry, Maddie Katz, all have had wonderful games.
Now, Claire Frost has had an outstanding game, even though she has not scored a goal, but she really has set up a lot of those goals with some good passing. She's also played excellent defense.
We did have a crease violation. That was the cause of the turnover on that end. One of the attack players ran through the back of the crease.
Minute 53 remaining here in overtime.
JL Mann has the ball at midfield. And they have numbers right now.
JL Mann looking to break this tie now. JL Mann with numbers. Sally Carson with possession, working right side, top of your screen, over on the far sideline.
Nice roll.
Rolls inside to her left, and now will pass. Now working over to Walsh. And now that is Ellen Stallman, the junior. Back to Walsh. Minute 14
Looking to
remaining.
be very patient. They don't want to give the ball back to Fort Mill now.
And JL Mann just trying to pick their spot. Walsh fires over, and that's a long pass.
That's a turnover
for Tanner Rumney. Rumney was not expecting that pass to be made.
It's very fortunate for Fort Mill now with no defenders between the player and the goal. She should be able to transition this ball down the field.
It's Caroline Lewis on the attack for Fort Mill.
She's getting the double team now with the check from behind. It's a nice play by J.L. Mann coming in and pressuring that ball.
Tanner Rumney.
We have a yellow card.
So 37 seconds remaining.
This penalty will carry over into the next 3-minute period if it goes that far. But this is a big advantage for J.L. Mann now.
Oh,
that's a direct turnover. You're going to want to go right to goal on this one. There's no point in running the clock out. If you can score, you won't get penalized from that penalty that you had. There's a nice feed and a great save.
Great save, yes.
That ball is back out, and they're coming in again. That's another good save. That's 14 seconds left on the clock.
And Fort Mill is a man down right now.
Fort Mill is playing a man down, so they should be doubling the ball, and they let Kristen Terry get away with a shot. 9 seconds.
Terry with a huge shot to break the tie, and her 4th goal of the game is the biggest so far with 9 seconds remaining in overtime. Fort Mill a man down. They've got the lead 12-11 after 2 big saves by Paige Elder III just out of her reach.
Right. Now what Fort Mill wants to do on this with this 9 seconds left is even if they don't get control of the ball, they want that ball to stay in the midfield. They need to really mark up these players, and really, if you're going to commit fouls, this is the time to commit some fouls and really pressure that ball in the middle of the field, because that time can come off the clock really quickly.
What is Christy Shoemaker telling her ladies in the JL Mann huddle there with 9 seconds left?
Bottom line, we have to have the draw. You have no time. You've got to go to the goal with that. So I'd be very surprised if Fort Mill doesn't pull a lot of their players back onto the defensive side of the ball so that they can really keep that ball from getting down.
Kirsten Terry, the hero right now for Fort Mill, the sophomore with 9 seconds remaining in overtime. Strikes on Paige Elder and puts the Yellow Jackets ahead 12-11. The Yellow Jackets trailed by 3 after the first half.
Got to have a lot of pressure on the ball at this point.
JL Mann desperately needing to control this draw with 9 seconds remaining.
And that's what we're talking about, keeping the ball in the middle of the field. There's a foul.
Comes down with it, but a foul, and that is going to be called on number 4, Victoria Richardson.
That could have easily been a card there, but now she's got to go pretty near 50 yards and score this goal with less than 2 seconds on the clock.
That's it.
That's it.
Your 2012 South Carolina State champs, the Yellow Jackets of Fort Mill High School, as Nicole Morris's squad battles back from a 3-point deficit after halftime to take the lead in regulation, then winning it ultimately in overtime with 9 seconds left and a huge goal by the sophomore Kirsten Terry to seal the deal, and Fort Mill wins their first state championship. Here is another look, Rick Piersma, at that championship-winning goal.
They set that up the whole game, and they run that offense. I'm talking to the JL Man people before the game. They knew that that's what was coming their way, and they thought they had an answer to it. But Kristen Terry's a different kind of player as a sophomore than most schools are going to see.
Well, that's your final. Fort Mill 12, JL Man 11 in overtime. Fort Mill, the 2012 Girls Lacrosse State Champions. For Rick Piersma, I am Birch Antley saying so long from Lexington, South Carolina. We'll talk to you next time here on the SCHSL Network.
Presenting the silver medals to JL Man High School is the principal, Charlie Mayfield, and Todd Company, the assistant athletics director. Number 2, Paige Elder. Number 4, Grayson Gaines. Number 6, Tanner Rumney. Number 10, Megan Levine. Number 11, Allie Garland. Number 12, Caitlin West. Number 13, Ellen Stallman. Number 14, Jordan Dunlap. Number 15, Elizabeth Armstrong. Number 17, Olivia McCarthel. Number 20, Maddie Hogan. Number 21, Sally Carson. Number 22, Sarah Francis. Number 23, Mills Watt. Number 24, Chandler Blackwell. Number 31, Sophie Forsyne. Number 32, Mary Joyner. Number 33, Ruth Ann Payne. Good job. Number 34, Emma Anderson. Number 35, Eleanor Minor. Number 40, Navy Clemson. Number 42, Caroline Templeton. And number 45, Sarah Dunn. Head coach, Kristen Shoemaker. Athletic director, Jeff Sarkin, and principal, Charlie Mayfield. Nessie Harris, assistant commissioner for the South Carolina High School League, now presents the trophy to the 2012 Class 4A runner-up champion, JL Man High School. All right, presenting gold medals to Fort Mill High School. Principal Dean Christopher and Dwayne Hartsoe, Athletics Director. Yeah. Number 1, Claire Frazee. Number 2, Hadley Mabry. Number 3, Sarah Miller. Number 4, Victoria Richardson. Number 5, Maddie Katz. Number 6, Abby Sandy. Number 8, Caroline Lewis. Number 10, Megan Hobbs. Number 12, Kirsten Terry.
Proud of you.
Number 14, Taylor Sutton.
Good for you, Tyler.
Number 15, Britt Parnell. Number 16, Haley Smith.
Have fun? Congratulations.
Number 17, Aaron Garrity. Number 21, Jordan Lozinski.
Here you go, Jordan. You got it.
Number 23, Dory Wilson.
Go, Dory.
Number 29, Rosalie Hawkins.
Yay. Dory.
Number 31, Hannah George.
Came to your house last night.
Number 32, Kara Hunsinger. Number 34, Taylor Chambers. And number 40, Jesse Walters.
Good job, Jesse.
Head coach, Nicole Morris. Assistant coach, Kristen Worley. Athletics director, Dwayne Hartstrow, and principal, D. Christopher. Now, Jerome Singleton, commissioner from the high school league, now presents the trophy to the 2012 Class 4A state champion, Fort Mill High School. Congratulations to both teams.